Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for being here. I'm Liz. I'm one of the creative managers over at Premier Yarns. And I just want to say thanks to Michaels for hosting this class, and thanks to all of you for being here with me today to crochet. So I'm going to go over the project super quickly, and then we're going to switch so you can see my hands. And I'm going to do step by step as much as we can get through of this beautiful Afghan. So this is the Charisma Black and White Throw. And each of these are separate squares that are just seamed together. So we're going to go over, we're going to try to make a whole entire square together. It's nice and squishy. It's got lots of post stitches for texture and this nice thick yarn. So I'm going to try to go over each and every stitch with you. Let's go ahead and switch the view so I can show you just a couple of the supplies we're going to need. This is my swatch here, my little sample. So we're going to do this together. I'm going to be using 4 colors of this Charisma yarn from, this is Loops and Threads Charisma. This is just an acrylic yarn. It's a bulky weight, I believe. It's nice and thick. So you're going to need 4 colors. Of course, this is available at Michaels. We've got the white, the mist, the black, and the, this one is charcoal. So this pattern calls for an 8mm hook, but I lost my 8mm hook. I'm going to use my 6.5mm. This is the one I'm going to use, but it's a little small. So what's going to happen is my square is going to be a little small, but that's okay for this class. So once you make a square, you can just measure it. And if your square measures 10.5 inches, then you're exactly on gauge. So I would start with your 8mm hook and then make a square. And as long as it's 10.5, see, this is where it should be 10.5. Then you should be good to go with the gauge. If you want it a little smaller, you can just do what I did and use a smaller hook. But that's how you can measure your gauge on this one. So you don't necessarily need to do an extra swatch. So just your hook and some scissors, and that's about all we're going to need, okay? I'm going to start with a white, and then we're going to work our way out and change colors as we go through this. So as you can see, it's nice and thick, and we've got some post stitches going on here. This is pretty beginner to intermediate. So if you know your stitches, you should be able to do this with no problem, but I'm going to go nice and slow for everyone, okay? And I'm just going to work directly from the pattern. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll try to answer whatever questions come up during this class, okay? We're going to start with the white. And we're just going to start with a chain of 3 to make a ring, okay? So I'll put my slip knot on my hook. And I'm just going to do my chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now, just to make an easy ring here, we're going to go into that first chain, which is the 3rd chain from the hook with the first one that we made. And I'm just going to go right in there and pull that loop through and pull it through again to make a slip stitch. So now, as you can see, I just have a little ring here that I can work directly into. So we attached it, we have a ring, we're going to work right into the ring. And we can just work over the tail. I often will just work over the tail like that. Now for row 1, we're on the right side. We're going to turn this. Sometimes when you do rounds, you don't turn, but for this pattern, we're going to turn. So pay attention to your turning. We're going to start with a chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that counts as a double crochet and a chain 1. And then I'm going to work 2 double crochet, chain 1 directly into this ring 3 times. Okay, so for my double crochet, I'm just going to yarn over, insert my hook into the ring, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now I have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. That's 1 double crochet. We're going to do another one like that, yarn over, insert, yarn over, 3 loops, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So if you're looking at the pattern, it says 2 double crochet in the ring, chain 1, and that's in brackets. So we're going to do that 3 times. So we just did 2 double crochet, chain 1, right? That's 1 time. Let's do that 2 more times. Double crochet, double crochet, oops. Chain 1, okay? We did it twice. Double crochet, double crochet, chain 1. So we did that group of instructions 3 times. What was in that brackets? 2 double crochet, chain 1, 1, 2, 3 times. Now we are going to double crochet in the ring. So we want 1 more double crochet. And then slip stitch in the 3rd chain of the beginning chain 4. Okay, so now we're back to the beginning of our round. Here's that first chain 4 that I did right here. That's 1, 2, that's the 3rd chain right there. So we're just going to slip stitch. So insert your hook, pull through the chain, and then pull through the loop that's on the hook. And that's a slip stitch. Now for the last little part of round 1, it says slip stitch in the chain space. So this is the chain space. We're just going to slip stitch right into there to bring us to where we need to be in the round. So if you can look closely, you can see that I have 4 corners here. There's a corner, there's a corner, a corner, and a corner. And the corners are the chain spaces. And as long as we have those 4 corners and they're even, we should be good to go. That was round 1. Now on to round 2. Now at the very end of round 1, it says turn. So don't forget to turn, because like I said, in this particular pattern, we're going to turn after each round, as opposed to usually when you're working in the round, you don't turn, but you know, sometimes you do. So we're going to turn just to make sure we're on the right side. Here we go. Now we're on the wrong side of our work. And then we're going to do a chain 3. We're sticking with the white for now. We're not changing colors yet. So chain 3. And now it says front post double crochet around each of the next 2 double crochets. Okay. So here's a double crochet and here's a double crochet, and we're going to work our post stitches around both of those. So here's the first one. To do a front post double crochet, we're just going to yarn over, insert your hook the way you normally would for a double crochet, but instead of going into the top of the stitch here like we do usually, we're going to work around the post. So we're going to insert from front to back. See my hooks coming out the back, and then again from back to front. So that way the post is sort of laying on top of your hook like that, the whole post of the stitch. And then you just complete a double crochet. So yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So that's 1 front post double crochet. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to do a lot of these, so if you haven't done them, you'll get used to it with this pattern. So yarn over, insert your hook from front to back and then back to front, just so that way the post is kind of laying over your hook like that. And then complete the double crochet. Okay, now we did 2 front post stitches. We're back to the corner. So let's see, we do now double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in the chain 1 space, which is the corner. So we have to make a corner. So that's a double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. So every time we're working a square like this, we have to increase in the corners, because if not, it won't lay flat. It'll start to go up like a tube. So whenever you're working in the round, if you want your piece to lay flat, just keep in mind, you always have to do some kind of increase somewhere. And for the square, we're going to do it in the 4 corners, of course. Okay, so that was my first corner. And then it says repeat from star 2 more times. So I'm just going to go back to where my star was, and that was the front post double crochet. And I've got 2 more stitches here. So we're going to do front post double crochet. So I'm just going around the post. And then I'm going to do the next one around the post. And then my corner. So the corner is just regular double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet. So that was 1 time. I have to repeat everything from the star 2 times total. So that was 1 time. Now let's do my post stitches again. Around the post, working my double crochet. And then again. And now I'm in the corner. Here's my corner. Double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet to make the corner on this round. The other round is slightly different. So I did that twice. Now I'm going to do that 2 more times. Okay, so I did what I needed to do 2 more times. Now I go to the very last bit of instructions on round 2, which is front post double crochet in each of the next 2 double crochet. So here's the next 2. That's 1 and 2. And then the last corner, double crochet, chain 1, not 2 double crochets, because remember, we already have this chain 3 that we did in the very beginning. So that counts as the double crochet. So we don't need to do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. We only need to do the double crochet and the chain 1, and that will complete the corner because we already have that 1 double crochet there. So we did that, and then in the first chain 1 space, and then slip stitch to the 3rd chain of the beginning chain 3. Here's the 3rd chain. If anyone has a question, let me know. Sometimes the questions pop up and then they go away, so it's hard for me to see.
Yeah, we did have a couple sneak through here.
Okay.
One thing we wanted to check, when going into the slip stitch, do you pick up both loops? That was asked by Victoria.
Okay. I'll show you right now, Victoria, because we're doing it. You can go either way. I think it's just a matter of personal preference. Sometimes if it's hard, if it looks like it's going to be a pain, I'll just go right into the center like that. Or sometimes if those loops look like they're going to be easy to get under, I'll go under 1 and then go under 2. Now that's with a chain, right? If you're working into a stitch, go under both loops. The front loop and the back loop, go under both loops. But see here, this is a chain because this is the chain 3. So you can kind of go just directly into the chain. It's harder to get under both loops of a chain than it is a stitch, but it's doable. So you can still go under both loops, and then it'll look like that. But yeah, under the front loop and the back loop when you're doing a slip stitch, unless the pattern specifies to work a stitch into the front loop only or the back loop only, just always go under both loops.
Excellent. And we were just saying some general chatter about how this is a little bit advanced for some people, and that's perfectly fine. Or if things are going a little fast, that's perfectly fine as well. We do have to move pretty quickly with these classes. We only do have an hour to make it work. So if it's moving a little quickly, don't worry. You know, as I mentioned up top, this video is being recorded, so you can watch it back later on. So you can pause it at your own leisure and, you know, move at your own pace. So don't fret.
Yeah, it is hard to, I always want to show as much as I can too, but then of course, I have to keep the speed a little bit. But let me try to slow down just a little bit so I can make sure everybody knows what I'm doing here. The post stitches are just one of those things that you have to get used to doing, but if you can do a double crochet, you can do a post stitch. And for the rest of the pattern, I'm kind of using the same exact stitches. So maybe you can, just kind of see it over and over again. That will help as well. Okay, so now we've already done 2 rounds. Now we are going to, remember I said we have to turn. This is what the back looks like. And we're going to cut this color and then we're going to join a new color, okay? So I'm just going to cut right there. I'm going to pull that right through and we can weave in those ends later. I'm just going to leave them there for now. But this is my chain space. So that's where I'm going to go back in with my next color. So I'm going to grab this mist and I'm going to start with a slip knot on my hook again to join. Now we're already on round 3, so I think I have some time to slow down slightly here. So now round 3 starts with a slip stitch and then a chain 4, okay? So now we're gonna go, this slip stitch doesn't matter because we're slip stitching right into the chain space, so we don't have to worry about going under loops. Here's my chain space, right? It says slip stitch, chain 4, 2 double crochet, all in the chain 1 space. It's in parentheses, so that's how you know all of that stuff goes into 1 space. Whenever you see a parentheses, it usually means it's like one thing, right? So everything that's within those parentheses is going to go into the same space. So we're just going to start by inserting in there, and then I'm going to work that slip stitch. So just pull through the space and then pull through the loop that's on the hook. That's all there is to a slip stitch. Now I'm going to do my chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that counts as a double crochet in a chain 1. And now I still need 2 more double crochets into this same space. So double crochet and double crochet. So that's kind of part of my corner. See, 2 double crochet, chain 1, and 1 double crochet. Now I've got some more brackets here, and it's designating, it's telling you to do the same thing. Whatever's within those brackets is kind of like a grouping of instructions. So in the brackets, it says front post double crochet in the next double crochet, and then double crochet in the next 2. So here's the first double crochet. You can see right here. We're not going into the top. We're going to do a post stitch again. So yarn over, insert from front to back around the post, yarn over, pull the loop through. Now I have 3 loops on my hook. 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. That's my post stitch. I did a post stitch around a post stitch. And then it says to double crochet in the next 2 double crochets. Here they are, 1, 2. Because it just says double crochet, we're going right into the top, right? Under both loops. So yarn over, insert my hook under both loops, which is the top of the stitch, just a normal double crochet. Pull through, 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. And then we do that one more time. Just a regular old double crochet, okay? And now it says to do that, which what we just did within those brackets, to the last double crochet before the chain 1 space. Well, guess what? That was the last double crochet before the chain 1 space, because that's the last one, and that's the chain 1 space. So we're where we need to be. Now we can do, now it says front post double crochet in the next double crochet, which is right there, exactly where we need to be. So yarn over, insert from front to back and then back to front around the post. Yarn over, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. And now we've got some more parentheses. 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet in the chain 1 space. Well, here's the chain 1 space. We're right there at our corner where we need to be. So we're just going to make another corner with 2 double crochets. That's 1. That's 2. Now a chain 1. And then 2 more, all in the same space. Okay. So we're working around and now we've got a corner. And now it says repeat from star 2 more times. So we're going to go back to the star, and everything that we just did, we're going to do 2 more times total. Everything from the star to the semicolon. So front post double crochet and the next double crochet. That's this one right here. That's the next one. Front to back, around the post, double crochet. Double crochet in the next 2. Here's 1, here's 2. Right into the top under both loops. That's 1 double crochet. That's 2 double crochets. And then we're going to continue doing that to the last one, which is the same one right here. Dogs outside, excuse those guys. And then we're going to do another front post double crochet right here. And now we're to the corner. So we have to make that corner like we just did. So as you can see, it's kind of repeating the same thing over and over again. You just have to make sure you're putting the right stitches in the right place. If you get to a corner and you see that you're like, oh, this is not what I'm supposed to do in the corner, then you're going to have to just kind of go back and figure out where you made a mistake and rip your work back and keep moving on. So 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 more double crochets. That's my corner. Okay. Now we went through that whole sort of sequence of instructions. Remember, we had to do it twice. We did it once. So we're going to do it one more time. Back to the star. Front post double crochet. Here's the stitch I need to work around. Remember, we're going around the post. That's what gives it that nice popping out texture. We're just working a double crochet around the post. And then we're going to do a double crochet into the next 2 double crochets into the top of the stitch like you normally do. We're at the corner. So we're going to do the front post and then the corner. And remember, on this round, the corner is 2 double crochets, chain 1, and 2 more double crochets. It's 1 and 2. Okay, so now, as you can see, we did everything that we were supposed to do 2 times, 2 more times, because we did it once in the beginning. Now what do we do? So after it says 2 more times, it just says front post double crochet in the next double crochet. Okay, I've got that one right here. That's a post. Around the post. And then double crochet in the next 2 double crochet. Okay, there's 2 more right here. We're going to go right into the top. Front post around the next front post right here. As you can see, we're almost to the beginning. We have to make sure we got all our stitches in. And then to the chain 1 space, that's where we're at. This is the chain 1 space. double crochet in the chain one space, and then slip stitch. So here's my first corner that I made, but remember we only had one double crochet in a chain one and then two, and we need two for each corner. So that's why we're just going to do one more double crochet. So it says double crochet in the first chain one space and then slip stitch to join it. So here's my first chain that I made. That's 1, 2, and the third chain is right there. So I'm just going to go right into there, pull that loop through the chain and then through the loop on my hook, and that's my slip stitch. Slip stitch in the third chain of the beginning chain 4, and then slip stitch in the chain 1 space. So you're not completely done yet. So we slip stitch to the third chain, but then we have to do one more slip stitch right in the chain space to bring us to where we need to be. So I'm just going to insert into the chain space, pull that one through, and then pull through the loop that's on my hook. Now because we need to be like right in the center, right into that chain space. So that's where we are now. And that's it for round 3. We increased and we have a nice square here with our post stitch for texture. Now don't forget, we have to once again turn our work. Now we're on to row 4. Now, once we do row 4, it's really a round. Once we do round 4, that's all of the rounds, and then you just repeat 3 and 4 again. So, but looks like we have time to do that, so we're good to go. What kind of dog? It's my mother's dog. I'm at my mom's house this weekend. And she has a little loud dog. That's all I know. Okay, so row 4. We're still on this color. We change every 2 rounds. We're gonna start with here we go. Chain of 3. Somebody just rode by in a motorcycle. Okay, so if you're working along with me, we are on round 4. We started with a chain of 3. Now we're going to do lots of post stitches again here. So we're going to front post double crochet in each of the next 2 double crochets. There's 1 and there's 2. So remember, we're working around those posts. Yarn over. See, I'm just going around the post. Pull through 2, pull through 2. And it says do it in the next 2. So that's 1, and this is 2. 2 front post double crochets. Then double crochet in the next double crochet. We've got some brackets here, so we know that's something that we're going to have to probably repeat, right? Double crochet in the next double crochet. This is the next one right here. You can see it. And we're doing a regular double crochet there. And then front post double crochet around the next 2. So here I have these 2, 1 and 2. So front post and front post. Okay, so now because we have the brackets, it says we're going to do that. So we're going to do what's within those 2 brackets until we get to a chain 1 space. We're not there yet. So double crochet in the next double crochet. That's this one right here. And then front post double crochet around the next 2, and then we'll be at the chain 1 space, right? So we're going to go around the post of this stitch with a double crochet. And we're going to go around the post of this stitch with a double crochet. And that brings us to the corner. Okay. So we did that to the chain 1 space. And then of course we have to make our corner again, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in the chain 1 space. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet to make the corner. Okay, now, once again, we're going to do some repeating of the same exact thing that we did. So it says repeat from star 2 more times. So where the star is, we start with a front post double crochet in each of the next 2. Front post. There's the next one. Front post double crochet. And then double crochet in the next double crochet. That's right here. So you're kind of switching back and forth between these regular double crochets and the front post double crochets. And then we're just going to do that same thing. So 2 front posts, because now we're within those brackets again. That's 1. That's 2. And then a double. There's my double right there. Right there. Right into the top of that stitch. We're not at the chain 1 space yet, so we're going to do 2 more front post double crochets. There's 1 and there's 2. Okay, so remember we have to do all of that 2 times. Oh, wait, we still have to do the corner. That counts as my first one. So now we're at the corner. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in the chain 1 space. Okay, now that's the end of the 1 time, because you see we did everything from the star to the semicolon. So now we're going to do it 1 more time. Front post, and it's kind of the same thing over and over. You just have to remember where your corners are so you can make sure you do your corners. So 2 front post double crochets, and then double crochet in the next double crochet, which is right there. Front post in the next 2. Here's 1 and here's 2. So around the post, around the post. And double crochet in the next double crochet. And front post and front post. Now I'm at the corner again. See, it says to do that till we reach the corner. We've reached the corner. So we do the corner, double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet. Okay. Now we did that 2 times, right? So we did everything that we were supposed to do 2 more times. Now we are, after it says 2 times, it says front post double crochet in each of the next 2 double crochet. So really we're doing same thing. Here's my post stitches. That's 1 and that's 2. And then double crochet in the next double crochet. Here's the double crochet right there. Front post double crochet around each of the next 2. That's 1 and that's 2. To the chain 1 space, okay? So we're going to do what's in that brackets to the chain 1 space. So we have to do it 1 more time. Here's the double crochet. And then the front post around the next 2. As you get going with this, you'll see it, like the stitches that you need to do will kind of like present themselves. Like we know these are the post stitches because they're not the post stitches from the previous round. They're just double crochets, and then you'll see that other double crochet is kind of sticking out. So you'll get the hang of it once you do it for a few rounds. It's the same thing pretty much over and over again. To the chain 1 space. Okay, so now we're at the chain 1 space, the last chain 1 space. And then it says double crochet in the first chain 1 space, which is the first of the round. And then, so here's the first chain one space of the round. So I'm just going to put a double crochet in there and then a chain one and then slip stitch to the third chain of the beginning chain three. This is where I started. So this is the beginning chain three. So we're just going to go into the third chain, which is about 1, 2, and that's the third one right there. So you can just go right, when it's a chain, I just go right into the center of it and slip stitch. So pull through the chain and pull through the loop on your hook. And that's it. Look, we completed round 4. Now this, as you can see, is the back of our work. We're going to turn our work again. And now you can see the front is kind of coming. Pull this guy out here. It's kind of looking like what it should look like. You can see it's got that like waffle texture, like what it's going to end up at the end. But as you can see, we're kind of doing the same stitches over and over. We're just doing lots of post stitches and lots of regular double crochet stitches. We just have to remember to keep your corners in the right place and increase in the right places. So that way you don't like miss any stitches. So here's the next round. Now it says cut color 2 and join color 3, and then just do round 3 and 4 one more time. So let's join another color here. I'm just going to cut this one, pull that through, and I'm going to join my next color. And start with my slip knot on the hook, right? And we're going to start in that same corner where we left off. So we're just going to slip stitch right into the corner. Does the back look, somebody said, does the back look the same as the front? No, it looks very different. See? Doesn't look bad, it just doesn't look the same. Because what happens with post stitches is the front post stitches will get pushed out to the front. So as you can see, they're being pushed up to the front. But when we do front post stitches on the opposite side of your work, now they're pushed out to the back, right? So that's why there's more post stitches on the back. But the front is where you see like the waffle pattern. So these stitches that are inside here, those are the front post stitches done on the back of your work. That's why it looks different. It still looks good though. So you can definitely have it as reversible. It looks, the waffle is more on the front though. Okay, so we're back onto round 3 because we're just going to repeat exactly what we did before. So we're going to start right in that corner where we left off with a slip stitch, and I can just work over the tail a little bit. So I'm just going to join this new color with a slip stitch, and then we're going to chain up 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're just going to do 2 double crochets all in that same space, because it says slip stitch, chain 4, 2 double crochet. So we're doing all of that in the chain 1 space. And that's what it looks like. Chain 4, 2 double crochets, right? That's my first part of my corner. Now we're going to do front post double crochet in the next double crochet. And now is where you can kind of really see the pattern is starting to take shape. So it's going to be really easy for you to identify where you need to do those post stitches on this round, because they're kind of already popping out a little bit. So we know we need to do a post stitch around the next double crochet. So that's this one right here. It's already popping out. And then these 2 double crochets, see how they're sort of pushed to the back a little bit? We're just going to do a regular double crochet in the top of those 2. So double crochet in the next 2. So that's 1. And that's 2. And then we're just going to continue to do what's within those brackets to the last double crochet before the chain one space. That's going to be over here. So front post,
while we're doing that, we did have a quick question I wanted to get answered before we move too far away from the corner, which was that how many stitches are in each corner? Does it kind of depend on which round you're on?
Yeah, it kind of alternates. Like for round 2, it's got a double crochet, a chain one, and a double crochet. And then for round, I think it's 3. So I'd say probably, it's going to depend on probably if you're on the wrong side or the right side. So for like the odd rounds, it's got 2. So 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. And that's probably so you can keep your stitches even, I'm guessing. When they wrote the pattern, you have to keep it even. So that way you have enough to keep your waffles like straight. So it's going to alternate. So pay close attention to which round you're on, because in some rounds it's only the 2 double crochets and a chain 1 for the corner. And then in the other round, it's 4 double crochets and a chain 1. So 2, 1, 2 like that. So yeah, pay close attention to this is very easy to do, but it's harder to write. So it's really helpful to learn how to read these patterns because once you read it, it seems kind of wordy and like a lot of symbols and stuff. But once you see it when you're doing it, you're like, oh, okay, that's kind of easy. It's just double crochets and post stitches. You just have to know where to put them. But that's why I like to go over the pattern kind of step by step for everybody, because it makes more sense when you do it. Okay. So yeah, we're just working over to the corner, and I'll just keep going. And if anyone has any more questions, I would be happy to answer them. I'm just doing regular double crochets.
Yeah, we did get a couple more while you were doing that wonderful explanation. Jeanette asked if we will be showing how to join the squares.
I'll show you how to join them. Yeah, I think we will have enough time for me to show you how to join them. I'll probably just go through this round and then we'll join them because like I said, these are repeats of what we already did. So you're doing the same exact thing. You're just changing your colors. Okay. Let's just get through this round. Here we're at the front post. Okay, this is the round where we have in the corner, like somebody asked before, how many stitches do we have in the corner? In this round, we have 2 and a chain 1. So that's 2, a chain 1, and then 2 more. So that's really 5 total if you're counting the chain as a stitch, right? So that's what the corner should look like for the entire round here. And then we're doing the post stitch. And then we're doing 2 double crochets into the top. And then another post stitch. The posts are just going around the posts. The double crochets are going into the double crochets. And then another post. And we don't do any back post stitches on this pattern. It's only front post stitches. That's why it looks different on the wrong side. Okay, now we're back to the corner, but I have to do 1 more post stitch. And then my corner, which is 1, 2, chain 1, and 1 and 2. See, now I'm not even really looking at the pattern anymore because I've kind of already memorized it. And the stitches that I can see, you can almost see the pattern to the point where you don't really need to read it. So when you do a blanket like this, you're doing, I think, 24 total squares. After the first 3 or 4, you won't need the pattern anymore. You'll just memorize it to make all of these squares. But of course you have it there in case you kind of mess up and you don't really remember where you're at. Just go back and look at the pattern. And then of course, these videos are here too. to watch over and over if you need to rewind. So I'm just doing double crochets in the double crochets and post stitches around the post stitches until I get to the corners. And then once I'm at the corners, I have to do the correct amount of stitches in the corner. Double crochet, double crochet. Got one last post stitch there, see? Don't forget any of them. Now I'm back in the corner, but remember I've got 2 on this side. I need 2 on this side. So I need to put one more double crochet into that chain 1 space. And then I just join those 2 in the 3rd chain of the beginning chain 4 with a slip stitch. And then remember, see, I'm not really in the corner yet. I'm at the top of the double crochet and I need to be in the corner. So we have to just slip stitch over to the corner. So we're in the right position for the next round. And now I'm in the right position for the next round. So I think that was round 3. So what you would do now is do round 4 one more time in this color. And then you're going to switch to the last color and you're going to do round 3 and 4 one more time. And that's it. That's the entire square. So you'll make, I think it's 12. Yeah, so you're going to make 13 like this, and then you're going to make 12 doing the opposite color combination. So instead of starting with the white, you're going to start with the black, and then like an ombre, right? So go from dark to light, and then go from light to dark, and that's how you will put them together. So it's kind of like a checkerboard pattern, right? So you have the dark to light next to the light to dark. And of course, that's all in the pattern. But so everything we just did, that's pretty much all you need to know to make all these squares. And like I said, once you do a couple of them, it'll be like a breeze. You can just get right through a bunch of these squares, and they're really, really pretty. So what I can do, this one's not complete, but I can show you how to seam this using these 2 little samples that I have here. And this is like so easy to seam these together. So once you get all your squares, you can block them out if you want, make them nice and even, you know, have them, if you like to have real nice, super straight edges, you can block them. If not, you don't have to. So what we're going to do is find our edges, and these should all have the same number of stitches. So you should have no problem seaming these together. Let's do it with white so we can see it. So let's start with slip knot on the hook again. And then you're just going to line up the edges. Now keep in mind, this should be, you know, they should be equal size. We're just doing a little sample here. And we're going to start at the bottom. Okay, you're going to grab your left one in the corner. And then just slip stitch through there, right? Or insert your hook through there. And then to join that one, we'll join it in the next corner. So we've got our 2 corners together, and then just slip stitch those 2 together. Okay, now we can just work from right to left like we normally would. Now you can do a slip stitch join if you want, or you can do a single crochet join, however you want to do it. If you do a single crochet, it's really easy if you hold the 2 pieces together like this. And then you just have to go through. So you start with 1 stitch on the square that's closest to you. And then you go into the like a joining stitch on the square that's furthest from you, right? So see, I've gone through both thicknesses of the first square and the second square. And then you pull your yarn through. Now you've got 2 loops on your hook, and then you pull through again to make a single crochet. And then you just move on to the next one. So I'm going through both loops of the first stitch, and then both loops of the adjoining next stitch. Pull through 2. First one, which is the one closest to you, and then the next one, which is the one furthest from you. Pull through 2. There's lots of different ways you can do this too. First one, second one, pull through two. Now you can see you're going to get a pretty thick seam, right? Now, if you don't love how thick it is, you can do a slip stitch seam, which is pretty much the same exact thing. You're going to go through the first stitch closest to you, and then the next one, which is the one furthest from you. And then instead of pulling it through and doing a single crochet, you just pull it through and do a slip stitch. So pull through and pull through. So without doing that additional yarn over. See, I'm going through both thicknesses. Pull through, pull through. We'll do a few of those so I can show you. Pull through, pull through. And you can play around with it and see which one, you know, see what you like the look of better. See, there's my single crochet seam. There's my slip stitch seam. It's totally different. Now, if you really want to get fancy, another one I like is to do the just one loop, right? So now remember I was showing you, we're going to go through both loops of the first one. It's hard to see with the black, but you can see with the next one, I'm going through both loops. Instead of going through both, you're going to go through the back loop and the front loop. So the back loop on the square closest to you and the front loop on the square furthest from you. And then just pull those through two loops, right? For a slip stitch. So let's go through the back loop for the one closest to you and the front loop for the adjoining one furthest from you. So those two loops are close together, right? They're just different on different squares. I like this one. This is one I use a lot, the back loop and the front loop. And it's just a little flatter. So it's going to be a little bit flatter when you're all finished with it. You're not going to have like anything sort of sticking up. See how flat that one came out? So you can see the difference. Here's the single crochet. Here's just a regular slip stitch through all the loops. And here is through only the back loop and the front loop. So it's just going to be much flatter. Let me show you on the blanket, because this blanket they did with the all single crochet. So see how it's got like a ridge. And it looks pretty because there's so much texture in this blanket anyway, so it's fine to have that ridge. It just adds more texture. But if you're doing something where you want it to be more flat, you can just use the slip stitch one that I showed you. So that's actually 3 different ways to seam this, but that's it. So once you do that, you're just going to go across and you can continue and start adding this way, or you're going to start with like 4. So start with 4, connect the 4, and then you just continue to connect the rest, all with whatever seaming technique you like, whether it's the slip stitch or the single crochet. You can use your hook for all of them. You don't have to worry about messing with the needle and, you know, putting it on a yarn needle and doing it that way. Once you're done seaming them all together, you're just going to work a really simple double crochet border. Once you've got it all together, just double crochet border around the whole entire piece. Remember, when you get to the corners, you got to make a corner so it will lay flat. So when you get to the corner, just do, I think it says, according to the pattern, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. So when you got your big corners, just make the same corner like we made here. I hope that helped.
Yeah, for sure.
As far as the seam, that's probably part of the easiest. That's probably the easiest part, is attaching them. And there's so many different ways to do it. Those are just a couple of my favorite ways. And those are the quickest ways too, because you're using your hook as opposed to using some thread.
Yeah. We did get a number of questions right towards the end. We'll try and get through as much of them in the next minute or so as we can. But a big one that I saw pop up a few times was, can you keep going and make this one a bigger square? So there are bigger squares in the pattern.
Yeah, you can. So I would say, yeah, because the way this pattern is written, if you look at the pattern, you can see there's no numbers like 125 double crochets, or at the end you'll have whatever double crochets. It's just going by increases. So as long as you increase at the correct rate, so increase exactly as the pattern tells you, like for example, increase by 16 on round 3 and increase by 8 on round 4. As long as you do it at the same rate, you can make it as big as you want. You could just keep going, make more stripes. This would be really cool with like rainbow stripes, different, really bright and colorful. I think that would be fun. But yeah, you could definitely do that. Just make sure you're doing it at the right rate and make sure you're following exactly as the pattern has it. Yeah, you could keep going, definitely.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. And I know there's a number of questions, but we are pretty much right at time here. So if you guys have any questions that, you know, didn't get answered, you can always tag us on social media. Somebody will try to get the get those questions answered for you as they can.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. And like he said, and I said, you can rewatch it if it was quick. If it was too fast, go ahead and rewatch it. And you're doing the same thing over and over. So hopefully you can, I know you can do this. If I can do it, you can do it. And also, like we said, make sure you, if you make this project, I see somebody's already got her square done. That's so cool. If you make this project and take some photos of it, tag us on social media. So thank you everyone so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the class. Bye guys. Thank you.